So, as everyone knows, Frank Lampard has officially returned to Chelsea, but this time it's not a permanent role, it's more temporary, and he is the caretaker manager of the club until the end of the season. So, the next 8 games, he will be the manager of Chelsea. So, really, I do think that this will be temporary to start with. Well, I think it will be temporary. I don't think they'll look to keep him on unless he literally wins like the next 8 games and Chelsea obviously shoot up the table then, which honestly, after this weekend's performance, I don't think that'll happen. However, when this was first announced, it came out that the players in the dressing room are actually making jokes about it. So when I first saw this, I was like, I wasn't really that chuffed about it, if you could say that, because I was like, here's a legend of the club coming back to manage the team, and the players are just cracking jokes. I mean, you need that kind of respect to be a manager, and I didn't think he had that after hearing the players cracking jokes. However, the mood was seen to have been positive, and it also did come out that the players thought that the speculation of the return was a joke. So it is more likely that they were just joking about that. They were just joking, saying, oh yeah, Lampard's coming back. Not literally that, but making jokes about him coming back instead of actually making jokes. So that was a bit of a sigh of relief, because I was like, when a legendary player like Frank Lampard becomes a coach, you don't really want people to be making jokes about it, especially when he's going back to manage the team that he had played for nearly 2 decades. So with Lampard making his return to Chelsea, I thought I'd look at how he did his first time around, and his first stint at Chelsea went from July 2019 to January 2021. So really 1.5 seasons. And this obviously meant he was sacked. So the board didn't think he was doing well enough. And in this time, he was head coach manager for 84 games. They won 44 of them. They drew 15, lost 25, and overall, that is a win percentage of 52%. Well, 52.4%. They also scored 164 goals and conceded 105. So overall, I'd say this is a mixed record, because a win percentage of 52.4%, really you want that more up in the 60%, 60 to 70%. I would say is a good win percentage, especially considering the team that Lampard is coaching. I mean, Chelsea are meant to be a big club in England. They're meant to be, challenging for the title. I'd say, yeah, they're meant to be challenging for the title, and they're also meant to be challenging to get in the Champions League. Also, just challenging in everything, to be honest. Everything, the FA Cup, the Premier League, the Champions League. If they're in the Europa League, they're probably expected to win that. So, really, only having a win percentage of like every other game is, I kind of agree that isn't really good enough. 25 losses as well and 15 draws. The draws wouldn't really bother me too much. It's more the losses. I mean, having 25 losses in 84 games, that's what, once every 3 games about that they're losing. And the worrying thing for me is the goals conceded as well. 105 goals conceded in 84 games. That's quite a bit over 1 goal conceded a game. The goals scored a game, 164, is about just under 2 goals scored a game. So that is good, but there were quite a few games where they scored like 5 or 6, and I think there was one when they scored 7. So that probably does bump that up a bit. However, overall, I think his first stint at Chelsea wasn't very good. I mean, you just need more wins, really. You needed more wins and needed to concede less goals. That's really what it was. So, really, I kind of agree with the press in this one when they said it was a shock move and they didn't expect it, even though it was just as caretaker manager. But then again, I don't know if they're just playing off the nostalgia of, bringing a club legend back to manage the team for 8 games, because the board are going to know that this is temporary as well. Also, in that stint, Lampard was in 2 cup finals. He was in the 2019 UEFA Super Cup final, where they lost 7-6 on penalties to Liverpool. And, well, obviously that was just after Liverpool had won the Champions League, so I don't think you can really complain about that. Also, in the 2020 FA Cup final as well, they ended up losing that as well, 2-1 to Arsenal. That was the FA Cup played during COVID as well. So really, 2 finals in, 2 lost. And also, people are probably going to say the Super Cup final wasn't really his final, if you want to say that. But to be honest, that really, really doesn't matter. He was manager for the final, and they lost. So, losing 2 cup finals, I think you'd expect him to win at least one of those. And this is back when Arsenal were not as good as they were now. They were still challenging for top 4 at this point. So, really, honestly, still, I think that this is more a move for nostalgia to kind of bring the fans' hope up, if you get what I mean. You know, bring the spirits of the fans up, because let's be honest, Chelsea have had an absolutely dreadful season. They're basically in the bottom half of the table, and for a club like Chelsea to be at that point where they're not even anywhere near the what's it called? They're not even anywhere near the Europa League. They're in 11th place. They've won 1 out of their last 5 games. I mean, this is a dreadful thing for Chelsea. They've lost 11 games out of 30. They've lost more than they've won. So really, I think that they needed something to bring the spirits up towards the end of the season, and bringing Lampard in could do that, because, you know, the club legend thing. So really, I honestly think that they'll just be looking for a more permanent manager, unless Lampard wins like the next 8 games, which, to be honest, I really do not see Chelsea doing, and I'm trying not to be a pessimist. But they do also have Real Madrid in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, so I mean, yeah, that's going to be pretty difficult considering that Real Madrid are the holders of the Champions League. However, crazier things have happened. I mean, I think Roberto Di Matteo, he was only kept on temporarily, and he actually came in and won Chelsea the Champions League. I mean, that was insane. I'm not saying Lampard's going to do that, but I'm also just saying, don't rule out anything shocking with Chelsea. I mean, they do also have to play Man United, Arsenal, Man City and Newcastle, so really, I don't think it's going to be a very good end to the season for Chelsea. I don't see them winning all the last 8 of their Premier League games. I see it being a very topsy-turvy kind of up and down rest of the season. However, it's probably nice for the fans to see a familiar face in the dugout for Chelsea for the rest of the season. And obviously they could knock out Real Madrid. I doubt they will, but I mean, especially after this weekend with the 1-0 loss to Wolves, I mean, that really wasn't a good start for Lampard. He really got off to the worst start, losing to Wolves, which is a team that they would have wanted to have beaten, because Wolves are really in the relegation. Wolves are really in the relegation battle. They're only 4 points off the drop zone. So let's just see how this goes for Lampard. He could surprise quite a few people. He could surprise everyone. You know, he could beat one of Man City, Chelsea. He could beat one of Man City, Arsenal, Man United, and he could even knock out Real Madrid. But, you know, I just think that this is just a nostalgia thing to give the fans a bit of a lift, considering that they've had a pretty dreadful season. So those are my thoughts on the return of Frank Lampard. I hate to be pessimistic, but I mean, I'm just trying to be realistic here, if I'm being honest. And being realistic sometimes means you have to be a bit pessimistic. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about Lampard's return down in the comments. What do you think is going to happen for the rest of the season for Chelsea? If you like this video, leave a like. Subscribe if you want more football videos, because I do football videos every week. I try and do a range of topics. So hopefully there's something that you like, and if you like a specific video, let me know. And if you have any video suggestions, leave those down in the comments as well. So thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next video.